good day, class. No? So, I'm here no, to discuss the last unit or last chapter in systems thinking, which is about the learning organization. And so, the inclusion of this discussion is the disciplines of learning organization and the laws of fifth discipline. Among all of the discussions that we've been through sa systems thinking, ito yung pinaka-puso, yung pinaka-importanting bagay na dapat yung matutunan sa kabuuang program natin na ito na systems thinking. And in the near future, no, you will become a part of any industries, you will become an employee, and this fundamentals, no, this thing is very important for you to learn. Kung ano nga ba yung learning organization. Okay, so meron ditong ilan no, na mga kataga, ilang mga quotations na importanteng matutunan nyo at importanteng ma-share sa inyo para mas maintindihan nyo kung ano yung learning organization. So according to Arie de Geus, the planning head for Royal Dutch or Shell, sinasabi niya na the ability to learn faster than your competitors may be the only sustainable competitive advantage. Now, if you became an employee in the near future and you know the feeling of competitive or competition no, inside a industry, no, mas maiintindihan nyo kung bakit mas mainam na mas mabilis kang matuto kaysa sa mga competitors mo dahil iyon ang pinakamabisang paraan para mas maging magaling ka sa kanila. No, so, personally, ako bilang parte ng isang industriya, ng isang institusyon, no, the more I saw people learning faster, it became that thing became our edge to other institutions. So, important quotation lang from Arie de Geus na planning head for Royal Dutch or Shell. Another quotation from Fortune magazine, forget your tired old ideas about leadership. The most successful corporation of the 1990s will be something called a learning organization. So, nakakapagtaka no, na bakit sa dinami-dami ng mga fundamentals, sa dinami-dami ng concepts, ng theories na pinag-aaralan natin sa management, itong learning organization daw yung pinaka-importante at pinaka-nagiging rason kung bakit mas maraming nagiging successful na mga kumpanya. So, ano kaya talaga yung meaning ng learning organization? So, yun yung i-dig deep natin, mga anak, kung tungkol saan at para saan yung learning organization. So, learning organization defines as discovers how to tap people's commitment and capacity to learn to all levels in an organization. So, meaning to say, learning organization is a thinking, is a mindset, wherein all of the employees, all of the people inside the industry is capable to learn, capable to adapt, or capable to become flexible. No, kahit saan man silang parte sa loob ng isang industry. And when we talk about learning organization, we are not just dealing about learning the workloads. Hindi lang natin iisipin na sa paanong paraan ako magtatrabaho, ano yung mga dapat kong gawin bilang empleyado. It's not just about that. No, iyon yung learning organization, yung paraan na kung saan ay hinuhubog no, ng isang organisasyon, ang isang empleyado para mas maging capable siyang gawin lahat ng bagay kung saan man siya maging parte ng levels ng isang industry. Sabi dito, are learning organizations possible? Is it possible daw na ang isang empleyado, ang isang industriya ay maituro no, ang lahat ng bagay na dapat malaman ng isang empleyado sa trabaho? And personally, I would say that this is possible, no? Because as human beings, we tend to have curiosity. No? We tend to have the nature of questioning things. It's normal for us to ask. It's normal for us to be curious. And it's normal for us to try things. For us to be able to gain another experiences or another skills na we wanted to learn. So, learning organization is really possible. But in what ways should employees or should the people adapt on the learning organizations that each institution have? So, iba't iba yung magiging paraan ng pagkatuto, iba't ibang ang kultura kung paano hinuhubog ang isang empleyado sa trabaho, pero posible na lahat ng empleyado ay matuto ng lahat ng bagay tungkol sa isang business. So, it's still possible. So, the second subtopic of this discussion is about the disciplines of the learning organization. So, napakalawak na bagay or napakalawak na usapin kapag pinag-uusapan yung learning organization, kasi we are not just talking about building and developing an employee, but we are talking about molding them to become the best version of themselves as employees. And each industries have their differences on how they will mold their employees. Kung ano yung kultura natin dito sa school natin ay iba sa kultura ng ibang school. So ano kaya yung pinaka disciplines na pwedeng sundan ng bawat industries, ng bawat corporation or businesses para lahat ng empleyado nila ay mahubog nila yung learning organization na tinatawag. So, let's first talk about the difference between invention and innovation. So, this is still important in learning organization because sabi nga kanina doon sa mga quotation na binanggit natin sa mga first na parts nitong discussion, na lahat daw ng successful na corporation ng 1990s ay kinalimutan yung old ideas kasi mas nag-focus sila sa learning organization. So, dito kaya sa larangang ito, sa usapin ng invention at innovation, saan kaya mas dapat nating i-focus yung learning organization? Inimbento ba siya? O kailangan siyang gawin pa lang? So, yun yung pag-uusapan natin sa next slide. When we say invention, it is the creation or introduction of a product or process for the first time. Invent. So, ibig sabihin, that thing has not been yet done or that thing has not been developed. Gagawin pa lang siya, i-introduce pa lang siya sa unang beses. Yan daw yung invention. And when we talk about innovation, sabi dito, if someone improves on or make a significant contribution to an existing product. Innovating. There are lots of things that has been invented. Ibig sabihin na introduce na sila. And then, if that invention has been developed, has been evolved, or merong ginawang changes, ang tawag na sa kanya ay innovation. So, that's the difference between the two. And when we talk about invention, it creates something new. Dahil nga, we are introducing something for the first time. And when we talk about innovation, it creates something that sells. Because those introduced things is developed or improved. So, mas maibebenta siya. Hindi naman literal na ibebenta sa market, pero mas papatok siya kasi may ginawang bago sa kanya. So, yun yung difference nilang dalawa. Sabi dito, learning organizations have been invented but they have not yet been innovated. So, kung babalikan natin yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina, na hinuhubog natin yung mga empleyado para mas magaling sila, itinitrain natin sila formally and informally to become the best version of themselves. It was invented. Pero hindi pa daw siya na-innovate, meaning wala pang changes na ginagawa. It doesn't sell. Hindi pa siya nabebenta. Bakit kaya nasabi na ang learning organization ay hindi pa nade-develop? So, later on, we will be talking about the reasons why. Kasi, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, there are differences on the end of of the businesses. There are lots of differences between them. And masasabi natin na maraming na-introduce for the first time, pero hindi pa lahat ay nagkakaroon ng changes. Kaya siya nasabi, or kaya nasabi dito sa slide na to na the learning organization have been invented but not yet innovated. So, for you to be able to understand, yung dinidiscuss ko kanina na bakit lang siya na-invent but hindi siya na-innovate, kasi maaaring itong 5 new component technologies ay hindi pa nai-instill ng bawat corporation, ng bawat companies na pinagtatrabuhan ng mga tao. So, there are 5 new component technologies na importante for the businesses to be able to become a learning organization. And the first one on it was the systems thinking that we will dig deeper later on. Dahil na-discuss na natin yan, nahuhulihin natin yan na pag-uusapan. Pero pagpo-focusan muna natin yung 4 more component technologies, which are the personal mastery, mental models, building shared vision, and team learning. So let's first talk about personal mastery. Sabi natin kanina, maraming mga disciplines na dapat gawin ng mga industries, gawin ng mga business para ma-adapt nila yung learning organization. And these 5 components is important para ma-instill nila ng maayos yung disciplines na gusto nilang itanim sa personality, sa behavior, sa kung paano umakto ang isang tao sa loob ng trabaho. So, una na dyan ay yung personal mastery. Discipline of continually clarifying and deepening our personal vision, of focusing our energies, of developing patience, and of seeing reality objectively. So, in life, when you became an employee in the future, iba-iba yung aspeto natin sa buhay. So, iba ka bilang kapatid, iba ka bilang trabahador, iba ka bilang kaibigan, iba ka bilang kakilala. So, you have different personalities, different, somehow, different person ka sa bawat aspect mo sa buhay. And when we talk about personal mastery, as a person, we always seek for growth. It's normal for people to seek growth. Kasi ayaw natin ng stagnant lang tayo. Ayaw natin na nakastock up lang tayo sa, ay, ito na ako. Hanggang dito lang yung kaya ko. Hindi dapat tayo maging ganon. Kasi kapag naging parte ka ng isang trabaho, hindi ka naman focus lang sa gawain na pang-isa. Kasi maaaring ma-designate ka sa ibang trabaho. Maaaring mabigyan ka ng ibang workload na hindi naman pasok sa job specification mo nung nag-apply. So, if you wanted to become an efficient and effective employee in the near future, you should have your own personal mastery. By deepening your personal vision, dapat meron kang maayos na pananaw sa buhay. By focusing your energy on positive things rather than focusing it on in pessimistic way. Mas mainam na mag-isip ka ng positibo kaysa mag-isip ka ng pangit tungkol sa sarili mo. So, mag-isip ng negative things. Sabi pa dito, developing patience. All throughout the journey of your lives, habang tumatanda, yung pasensya natin mas nag-iiba. Baka yung pasensya natin ng bata tayo ay hindi na tayo ganon. Maaring dati, bugnutin tayo, mabilis tayo mainis, pero eventually, mas nag-grow tayo at mas humahaba at mas lumalawak yung pangunawa natin sa mga bagay-bagay. So, nade-develop patience. And lastly is seeing reality objectively. So, when we see objectively, hindi siya about opinions. Now, we are dealing with the facts. We are talking about reality in objective ways. So, ibig sabihin, hindi tayo self-centered, hindi lang tayo opinionated lang, bagkus tinitingnan natin yung reality sa maraming bagay, sa maraming paraan. Hindi lang tayo nakatingin na parang kabayo na isa lang yung view. No, isa tayong tilting na ulo na lahat ng nasa paligid ay inuunawa at ina-observe natin. So, yun yung kauna-unahang component technology when we talk about learning organization. Focus on yourself. That's the first thing. Eventually, if you have clarity inside you, malinaw sa'yo yung visions mo in life, klaro sa'yo kung saan mo ibubuhos yung energy mo, mahaba ang pasensya mo, o kilala mo ang sarili mo kung paano magpasensya, at alam mo kung paano titignan ang realidad ng buhay mo, you will become an effective employee sa kung saan ka belong na industry. So, yun yung una, personal mastery. Second one is mental models, or deeply ingrained assumption, generalization, or even pictures or images that influence how we understand the world and how we take actions. So, aside from knowing who you are or mastering your personal life, it's important for us to embed our mindset or itanim sa isip natin na maraming bagay na nakapaligid sa atin ang pwedeng maka-impluwensya sa atin kung paano natin titingnan ang mundo. Nasabi dito, meron daw deeply ingrained assumption. It's normal for people to have assumptions. No, kasi may curiosity tayo, nakakapag-observe tayo. We are thinking rationally. So, maraming bagay yung pwede nating i-assume about ourselves or about the people around us or things around us. Pwede rin tayong mag-generalize ng mga bagay-bagay based on those assumptions. And sabi dito, or even pictures or images that influences how we understand the world and how we take actions. Yung mental models nating mga tao ay iba-iba. Depende sa kung saan tayo nakatira, depende sa kung ano yung mga nababasa at nakikita natin, depende sa mga nakasanayan nating environment, iba-iba siya. And anong relationship niya sa learning organization? So, how we deal with our mindset, how we deal with our mental models is somehow related on how will we portray ourselves in the industry that we belong with. For example, sa bahay nakasanayan ko na tahimik lang ako. Example lang, hypothetically speaking. No, kasi ang naka-influence sa akin and sa nakikita ko yung mundo na dapat tahimik lang para kalmado lang at nakakapag-isip ako. So, in that way, no, dahil yun yung nakasanayan ko, ay yun yung environment na meron ako, sa ganong paraan ko rin napapakita ang sarili ko sa trabaho. Na tahimik kasi yan sa bahay, kaya tahimik lang din siya sa work. Kasi that's how I understand the world. And those are my ways, my actions, dahil iyon yung mga nakikita ko na bagay at yun yung mga nakasanayan kong bagay. Now, aside from personal mastery na meron akong vision, mahaba pasensya ko, importante rin yung mental models dahil as a person, we have differences, we have different environments na somehow kinabebelongan natin. No? And those external parties or external things about us still influences our actions and how we understand the world. So, yun yung pangalawa, mental models. Sabi dito, the continuous growth depends on institutional learning, which is the process whereby management teams change their shared mental models of the company, their markets, and their competitors. For this reason, we think of planning as learning and of corporate planning as institutional learning, according to Ari de Gies, planning head for Royal Dutch Shell. So, kung i-relate natin siya sa industry, no, since nabanggit ko sa inyo na ang mental models ng tao ay iba-iba, dahil iba-iba ang nakasanayan natin, it is somehow relevant, no, on the end of the institution to know the thinking of each employees. Kasi ang mindset ni employee 1 ay iba sa mindset ni employee 2. Ang thinking ni manager 1 ay iba sa thinking ni manager 2. So those differences, those different mental models that we have can be beneficial on the end of the institution. Kasi sabi nga dito, for this reason, we think of planning as learning and corporate planning as institutional learning. Now imagine, napakadaming opinions, napakadaming suggestions na ikakabuti ng isang kumpanya na ang pwede mong pakinggan ay hindi lang isang tao, bagkus ay madami. Dahil iba-iba ang mental models natin. No? So, in that case, no, it became effective, no, on the end of the institution because they garnered important information from their employees in such a way na makakatulong dahil yung differences nila or yung different thinking na meron sila ay pare-parehong may punto na makakatulong sa isang institution. So, isipin nyo na lang na you are working in a team. Pare, nasa classroom kayo. Di ba hindi paminsan, hindi ko sinasabing lagi. Paminsan hindi mainam na lagi ka lang makikinig kay leader na isang opinion lang yung titingnan nyo. Na mas mainam kung lahat ay nakakapag-incorporate ng kanilang suggestions and recommendations. No, kasi mas nagiging maganda yung output or yung outcome ng isang trabaho. So, parang ganun lang din sa isang institution. No, the more you master your personal life and the more you know that there are lots of differences between yourself and two other people, marami ka pa rin naman pwedeng matutunan sa kayang i-share, no, ng ibang tao. So, that's the point of mental models. You can share mental models, you can share your own mental models, and somehow learn from the mental models that the other people have. So, yun yung second one. The third component is called building shared vision. Involves the skills of unearthing shared pictures of the future that foster genuine commitment and enrollment rather than compliance. So, i-relate lang din natin dun sa example kanina ng working in a team. So, sometimes, it's easier, no, for people to finish their work if they know that there is someone who could help them. For example, you are not a one-man in an island thinker. No, hindi kasi lahat ng bagay ay kaya ng isang tao. No, it's normal for us to seek help. It's normal for us to ask questions to other people because there are some things na hindi naman natin agad natututunan at meron naman din talaga tayo mga bagay na hindi kayang gawin, na kaya ng iba. No. Again, normal yon sa tao. Hindi tayo kahit sabihin mong expert ka na dun sa larangang yun, hindi ka naging expert ng dahil lang sa sarili mo. Bagkus, natutunan mo rin yun sa ibang tao. Natutunan mo or nalaman mo yung mga bagay-bagay tungkol sa bagay kung saan ka expert because of other people. Okay, kaming mga teachers. We can't be a good teacher if hindi naman kami na-influence ng mga good teachers namin dati. So, parang ganun siya. And the point here in building shared vision, sabi nga dito, there are a lots of skill of unearthing shared pictures of the future. So, imagine nyo na lang na parte kayo ng isang organization, tapos lahat kayo, ang ganda ng vision nyo. Ang ganda ng objectives, ng goals na gusto nyong ma-achieve, no, for the company. Tapos lahat kayo ganun tingnan. For example, sa BSU, no, we have our university mission, university vision. Lahat kaming mga employees, ganun namin gustong, ganun yung mindset namin. Kung ano yung dapat namin gawin para sa mga students namin. Kasi iyon yung tina-target namin na ma-achieve nyo. Dahil kayo ang estudyante namin. Ano sabi dun sa progressive, diba sabi sa BSU, Mission and Vision, progressive institution. So, how will the student become progressive? No? Kung hindi progressive kaming mga teacher. Na tumitingin din daw kayo sa na gusto namin kayo maging competitive, ethical, service-oriented professionals in the future. So, Paano kayo magiging service-oriented professional? Paano kayo magiging ethical? Because of us, because of the university, dahil nai-influence kayo. So, those shared visions, no, that the teacher have, the administration have, and also the student have, no, will somehow create the picture of future, no, rather than fostering genuine commitment and enrollment rather than compliance. No, kasi mas gusto naman natin as a person na hindi lang natin gawin ang isang bagay just for the sake of it to be done. Pero may mga ganong tao din naman, no, na they do such thing for it to be finished. Pero hindi ka dapat ganong klaseng tao kapag naging parte ka ng isang organisasyon. Dapat meron kang adhikain, meron kang pangarap na gustong maabot, at hindi mo gagawin ng isang bagay para lang masabing tapos na. So, yun naman yung building shared vision. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last one before the systems thinking, which is the team learning. The intelligence of the team exceeds the intelligence of the individuals in the team. Teams develop extraordinary capacities for coordinated action. So, still related to mental models, still related to building shared vision. Kung ikaw ay isang magaling na miyembro ng isang team, mas marami kang matututunan. And it's true, lalo na sa trabaho. The more you engage yourself working in a team, you will gain growth. Totoo yun. Kaya mong maging leader kung magaling kang makinig at magaling kang follower. Kasi ibig sabihin lang nun, if you listen, no, to those person or to those individuals who are leading a team, na-adapt mo yun as individual. Nagagrasp mo yung mga sinasabi ng leader na sinusunod. Pag ikaw naman yung naging leader, lahat ng mga natutunan mo mula dun sa leader, nung ikaw ay member, pwede mong i-incorporate sa gusto mong paraan ng pag-lead sa team mo. Kaya sabi dito, teams develop extraordinary capacities. Mas marami ka talagang matututunan, mas marami kang bagay na matutuklasan, mas maraming bagay kang madedevelop kapag nagtatrabaho ka sa team. Compared dun sa gumagawa ka lang ng mag-isa. So, all of those new components, no, na diniscuss ko yung 4, importante yun, no, para sa isang organization na matawag siyang learning organization. Kasi imagine, you are an industry, all of your employees have personal mastery, all of your employees shared or building shared vision, all of your employees have strong mental models, and all of them know how to work on a team. Dahil may team learning na tayo na discuss. Ang ganda ng mangyayari din sa isang industry. Napakaganda. And very much important in this 5 new component technologies is, yan, sabi dito, yung una ay systems thinking, na iyon yung subject natin. So, the 5th discipline is systems thinking. So, in systems thinking, just like what I've said in the first meeting, we are not just learning or knowing the systems of the business. Technically, iniisip natin kung paano nag-work ang isang sistema. Yun yung systems thinking. And sinabi dito na, we understand the system by contemplating the whole and not any individual pattern. So, hindi lang natin tinitingnan yung hindi lang natin tinitingnan yung system as one. Pagkus inaalam natin kung ano yung kabuuan, ano yung elements, ano yung purpose, ano yung function. Yun yung systems thinking. We are able to understand the whole system by contemplating each elements, by knowing the purpose or function of each elements, How is it related to one another? Yung mga independent or interdependent variables na meron sa isang system. At hindi lang natin siya tinitingnan as pattern. Because we are seeking to understand the whole point based on its specifics. Yun yung systems thinking. And again, when you became part of any industries, it is much more important to understand each elements of systems rather than understanding the whole system as is. So, kasi pa pwede kang mag-generalize lang ng bagay. Pa pwede mong sabihin na bulok sistema dyan. Paano mo nasabi bulok sistema? Siyempre, may specifics ka na inaral. Hindi mo pa pwedeng sabihin na pangit dyan, pangit mong trabaho dyan kasi ganito daw. Isa lang naman yung nakita mong pattern. Sabi kasi ng pinsan ko, pangit daw magtrabaho dyan. Ano ba yung reason ng pinsan mo? Paano nasabi? Nakita mo ba yung whole picture? Siyempre, hindi naman, di ba? So, as systems thinkers, individuals, we tend to somehow understand the whole system by knowing its specifics. So, yun yung systems thinking. Sabi pa dito, it is the discipline that combines other disciplines and keeps them from being separated. So, kung naalala niyo pa yung discussion natin na merong collection at merong system. No, so, kung i-apply natin siya in real life, no, iba-iba naman talaga ang systems. No, may systems na tayong ginagalawan na konektado sa isa pang sistema. For example, si Ma'am Shania. Si Ma'am Shania ay ate sa bahay. Ibang sistema yun. Family systems yun. Iba rin naman yung sistema ginagalawan niya sa trabaho kasi belong siya sa isang institution. But then again, I belong to the same system kasi ako ay ate at ako rin ay empleyado. Pwede kong pagsamahin yung sistema na meron sila, pero dapat meron pa rin silang pinagkaiba. Yan. Yun yung systems thinking. And in the industry or in the corporate world, the system of one department is different from the other. Pero hindi naman natin sila pwedeng paghiwalayin kasi belong pa rin siya sa isang kumpanya. You can combine it but still keep them being separated from one another. So, yun yung systems thinking. Systems thinking also needs the disciplines of building shared vision, mental models, team learning, and personal mastery to realize its potential. As a person, you will understand the whole system, the whole thing, kung meron kang malinaw na vision. Sa kung paano ka rin mag-isip bilang tao, ganun mo rin naiintindihan ng isang sistema. Like for example, negative thinker ka. Napagalitan ka one time ng boss mo. Sinabi mo na toxic na sa work kasi walang ibang ginawa yung boss mo kundi pagalitan ka. Pero most of the time, your boss upload you. Na-appreciate ka. Pero dahil pessimistic thinking ang meron ka, yun yung mental models mo. Ang nakikita mo lang ay yung negative things. Sabi pa dito, team learning. It's true. Na you will be able to understand the whole system if you became a good team player. And syempre, importante rin naman yung personal mastery. Kagaya na napag-usapan natin kanina. Personal growth, yung development mo as individual, it's important na when you became a part of any industry. Yan. So, building shared vision, commitment to the long term, mental models, focus on the openness needed to discover the problems in our ways of seeing the world. Team learning develops skills of groups of people, personal mastery, personal motivation to continually learn how our action affect our world. And systems thinking makes us understand the new way individuals perceive themselves and their work. So those 5 new component technologies are much needed to be understood para masabi natin that learning organization can be innovated na hindi lang siya invented. And yung 5 na diniscuss natin, iba-iba, iba-iba tignan ng bawat kumpanya. Kaya nasabi na lahat ay na-introduce lang for the first time. At hindi pa lahat na-innovate. Kasi wala namang changes pa na nangyayari dahil iba-iba ang perception ng bawat corporation or industries. So, I will end this discussion with quotation. Sabi dito, at the heart of a learning organization is a shift of mind. For you to be able to become a good employee with personal mastery, for being a good team member, para mas matawag mo yung sarili mo na mahusay kang parte ng isang organisasyon, hindi dapat sarado ang isip. Kaya sinabi dyan na ang puso ng learning organization ay pagbabago ng pag-iisip. A learning organization is a place where people are continually discovering how they create their reality and how they can change it. The continuous improvement, the continuous discovery of you as an individual can be considered a special place in a learning organization. Discovering how they create their reality and how they can change it. So, yun yung importansya ng learning organization. Discovering, continuous discovery, continuous development as a person and as an employee. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last slide. Learning is not just taking in information. It involves metanoia, change of mind. Lagi niyong tatandaan, mga anak, na ang pagkatuto ay hindi lang dahil sa may nalaman kang bagong impormasyon. Bagkus, yung pagkatuto ay yung pagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa thinking mo dahil may nalaman kang bagong bagay. Yun yung importansya ng pagkatuto. Kapag nagkaroon ng changes sa isip mo at hindi lang may naintindihan ka at may nalaman kang bagong information. So, I hope this whole program, the whole discussions that we had in systems thinking made you realize something. Made you change your mind in a way. Kasi, lagi kong sinasabi sa inyo, mula pa sa umpisa ng pag-aaral natin ng subject na ito, na hindi lang natin pinag-aaralan yung sistema as is. But rather, we are somehow understanding the system, why does it revolves, why those processes happen in that way. Dapat meron tayong changes in mind rather than just taking in the information. So, I guess that ends now my discussion in learning organization. I hope up to this end of this recorded discussion ay nakinig kayo. And I am very sure that all of my students in this subject understood systems thinking as a whole. Pero lagi niyong tatandaan, despite all of the discussions, despite all of the fundamentals, principles, terminologies that we learn, as long as it doesn't change anything on your head, it cannot be considered learning. Nagfa-familiarize lang kayo, pero walang changes na nangyayari kapag walang nabago sa way of thinking nila as individuals. So, that ends my discussion. Thank you so much, my dear students, for listening and watching this video. I do hope that you are all safe and fine.